the 2020 Mentor Tournament. This is the first round of the tournament with an Ambrosia seed. I am Espion, and with me today is Mary. How are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited to see the seed start off. I haven't been watching too much of the tournament so far, but I am very excited to see what.
Definitely been some good runs so far, so if you're ever looking for some good races, you should go back and watch some of them.
Today we have Thorneto on the left, mentored by Ajdaja. I am never capable of pronouncing his name, so I'm not even going to try. And on the right we have DJ Darkwing D. So this is an Ambrosia seed, and if you're not familiar with the details of Ambrosia, it consists just of a sword assured start. So we will start with the fighter sword. It's a standard seed, so we have to do the escape sequence, and a couple other things which are non-standard or not typical, is that we get a hint from Uncle at the start of the game telling us what general location the boots are, and we also know that on every boss of a dungeon, there is a real item, not a map or compass or key or anything. And we are getting started. We get the boots hint. So boots are in Thieves Town.
At least they should be easily accessible once they get access to the Dark World.
Yeah, Thieves Town is always a nice and early dungeon. So even if it is a pendant, won't be too hard to get those boots. And we get a map check, and we get to see that the White World is all crystals, always a welcome sight to see.
I believe Tower of Hera was one of our 5-6 crystals.
So we will be looking for bomb drops and escape, and it looks like we get one right away for both runners off of these green guards, which is very convenient. And because actually the bomb is the first in the pack, that means that we'll be able to farm up more bombs from these guards.
Yeah, that's always a really nice prize pack to see in the escape sequence. You always hate having to go back for the back of escape checks.
Yep, this way neither runner will have to worry about it. And even more bombs in the map chest. Definitely no shortage.
If only this was an open seed, then we could have done bomb escape.
Bomb escape is one of those things which is a little bit difficult to figure out on your own, but since we do have mentors, they might be able to help them through bomb escape later, in an open seed, for example. But so far, we have not really had anything of note in the escape. Just going through the motions. We got to get through here before we can get to the game proper. Both runners going for 1 pot 4 slash strat on the ball and chain guard, which is a pretty common, safer strat to do if you're not comfortable with 8 slashes, as 8 slashes can actually be quite dangerous.
It's always a little nerve-wracking considering how easy it is to clink against the ball and chain.
The boots hint was Thieves Town, which is a pretty nice place to have boots.
So far, Escape really holding out on us.
Yeah, we do have a nice amount of rupees. It will be good for bottle vendor in the near future, but otherwise, uh, nothing of note. We almost have synced Q at kills. Unfortunately, Thorneto misses the slash by a couple of pixels. Not a big deal, though. And we'll save that time back by throwing the bomb at the bombable wall instead of walking up and placing it. A very good time save for pretty much any.
Not sure how I feel about seeing that cape so early.
Yeah, with the sword assured start, that does actually bring an increased likelihood of Aghanim 1 by itself. Then throw the cape into the mix, and suddenly you're.
I imagine our runners are probably hoping not to see the lamp quite yet.
And here is a nice heart container in its typical spot, although not the Sanctuary heart container. Still French. And we are off to Kakariko. So there is a question here of whether to check the Lumberjack item. It looks like both of our runners are going to skip the Lumberjack item check. A bold move, considering we got the cape.
I can kind of understand it. Given boots are in Thieves Town, they're not going to be able to pull it unless they get alternative Dark World access or go through a bunch of hoops in Dark World first.
Alright, we are coming into Kakariko. And there are plenty of items in Kakariko. We'll be able to get 13 items here, even without the bottle.
I'm loving the sync we have going on.
And there's a Moon Pearl and a bottle, so that's an extra item. Oh, and the lamp. Oh. Sure this is Blind's hideout? Seems more like Aghanim's hideout. So with these items in hand, the sword, cape, the lamp, and the moon pearl, our runners will have access to Aghanim 1, which means something no randomizer runner particularly wants to do.
With any luck, they will find alternative access, but it's certainly looking likely at this point.
And there in Kakugo, well, we get bombos and flippers. Flippers, not a great thing to see right at the start of the game, honestly. There's glove. Pretty nice.
Let's at least give them mountain access now, combined with that lamp. Ooh, DJ Darkwing actually got the... Oh, I thought they got the chicken clip.
Partial chicken clip. It's stuck in the wall now. Doomed forever.
Poor chicken.
So we did get the flute out of Chicken Hut, which DJ Darkwing is going to immediately activate.
It's been a pretty generous Kakariko so far.
In comparison with the escape sequence, yeah, got plenty of items. One important thing that is probably on our runners' and mentors' minds is the question of getting 500 rupees for Zora. Since we do have flippers, which is gives us access to a couple of checks to possibly avoid Aghanim, we would like to get get King Zora's item on the first trip so that we don't have to double dip. But we're currently sitting at only about 160 rupees on both of our runners right now, which means that getting money is going to be an important priority.
Yeah, and sometimes you get unlucky and you don't get it, so it's possible they might end up routing it in with catfish at a later time if they happen to find the mirror.
Fortunately, we do have Houlihan at our disposal with the glove, so that will give us access to a good number of rupees, and we'll only need about 100 to 130-ish extra in order to get what we need. So here is Mini Moldorm Cave, hopefully yielding a money or progression, or both.
Well, it had some money.
Not really enough money though, since Houlihan yields, I believe, 225 rupees. We'll need about 80 extra. both runners fluting at exactly the same time.
Oh,
But
some diversion.
Darkwing does want to be careful of these crabs here, since you will. We are really not getting very much outside of cap.
No, it doesn't seem that way. Both Ice Rod and Saha's Closet coming up as a dud. We still have a few options available in the Flippers checks, Agina, and the 2 possible items in Eastern Palace. Looking more likely that we'll be going towards Aga as the time goes.
Yeah, looks like Darkwing is going to be checking at least Hobo, possibly more of the flipper checks. Well, Thorneto. Alright, we get Thorneto heading to Agina's Cave, another location similar to Ice Rod Cave. Bit out of the way, but fleet.
I'm glad to see DJ Darkwing doing a Hylia Island check. And, ooh, has the hook.
That is definitely worthwhile and very important to see, since getting the mirror will put that in logic immediately, since we can go through Aghanim 1 to get. And then getting the hook shot will allow us to access West Dark World. Personally, I wouldn't think about refilling my bottle that already has a red potion in it. That's probably one of the better things you can have in.
Yeah.
And Thorneto checking Hylia Island as well, seeing that hook shot there. Very important information.
Fortunately, Zora's also turning up.
Yeah, and neither runner has the 500 rupees required to make. Darkwing is going to be isolating Zora.
I think Thorneto is getting close enough that they could do a Houlihan before going up to Zora, and they might be able to afford it. But just need a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll need about 20. That is doable, though, from these 2 mountain checks that are available. We could. That is probably a very important point of discussion between the racers and mentors right now. Like, we get a green pendant check, so it turns out it's a nice palace. Pretty good if you don't.
Old man just pointing us back towards Aghanim, giving us the Master Sword.
And 50 rupees on Spectacle Rock taunting us, since we really want that money. At this point, it looks like Thorneto is going to be heading over to check the Zora area, having given up on getting the required money. And Darkwing is going to be checking Eastern Palace, seeing if it has any progression to hopefully avoid.
Such a shame, too, because if Thorneto had Hula Hand beforehand, that 20 in Waterfall Cave would.
You're right. Almost exactly enough money throughout the entire seed. Ooh, there's the Fire Rod in Eastern Palace. Currently doesn't do anything, but it could become important.
Nothing else with half magic. It's a really nice.
Yeah, especially for Aghanim's Tower. It'll let you just burn down all of the tanky enemies going up. A well-executed fast Stalfos room from DJ Darkwing. If you walk in a certain pattern in that room, you can get the Stalfos to spawn inside of the pots. And one inside the pot, one inside the wall. And that will let you just kill 2 Stalfos and escape.
Interesting. I did not actually know what caused that. The quick for that.
Yep, if the game tries to spawn them inside of Collision, it's just like, whoops, can't do that. And then it doesn't spawn. And a clean damage boost to Eastern Big Key. And going to save and quit out because this is Ambrosia, and so therefore we know that the last item is on the.
I did like their choice to go ahead and grab the big key while here, since it's not really going to get any quicker to.
Yeah, at best you get boots. That saves like 2 seconds. Eh. And having Big Key here makes for a nicer Go Mode Eastern later. But it looks like we have exhausted every single check except for Zora. Thorneto is opting to save and quit out immediately and not get the Eastern Big Key right now, which will save a very small amount of time later. But at this point, both runners are resigned to Aghanim's Tower. There's not much else we can do without going all the way back to an isolated Zora, so Aghanim's Tower it is.
Blue Guard giving DJ Darkwing a little.
Yeah, this Dark Maze room is, in my opinion, the trickiest room in Aghanim Tower. It's pretty easy to get yourself turned around in there if you don't know exactly where you're going, plus the guards are very annoying to deal with.
So Darkwing has a little bit of a lead here, but Thorneto's already done the Spectacle Rock checks and rescued the old man, which will definitely save him time considering he got a Master Sword.
Yeah, as well as having checked Agina as well. Have a couple more checks will offset this time advantage later, possibly. Being able to save and quit to the mountain is pretty useful. DJ Darkwing now at the top of the tower, going to have to sit through the Aghanim fight, which is really more like a cutscene than a fight, all things considered. Considering the most interesting part about it is us guessing numbers.
With any luck, our runners will get a decent Aghanim that doesn't throw too many blue balls out.
Always guess 3.
I'm going to be generous and say there's only going to be 2.
Ooh, does missing a reflected shot?
I don't think it does.
We've got
Oh, wow. This is not nice of Aghanim.
Oh, are you serious? This is actually looking...
Oh my god!
Wow, yeah, this really is... Okay, so if Thorneto doesn't miss any reflect, it will be 7. For DJ Darkwing, it can possibly go 10. With... Alright, so both runners will... Congratulations, Irritable Penguin. You win the most pointless guessing game of A Link to the Past.
I hope you're happy, you monster.
Alright, we get a quick Dark World map check. Unfortunately, Thieves Town is a pendant, even though that's where our boots are. I expect that we'll see a clear of that anyway, just to get those nice, fast boots. And the other option is Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, which is unfortunately also a pendant, and at least for now, really the only thing accessible. They could go up to Catfish to get that single check. It appears that Darkwing might... Oh right, they have flippers. No wait, never mind. There's no spot to get up on the left side with them.
On the left side, no. We will need... You do need the gloves to get Catfish, and gloves are the only thing you need to get Catfish from here. Not really sure swimming is faster. Pretty sure it's slower. But it does avoid the annoying spear-throwing guards. Alright, so we are seeing another divergence. Darkwing's going to get Catfish, Thorneto going straight to Palace of Darkness. In my opinion, going straight to Palace of Darkness is probably better, just because it has more items, but Catfish is also a viable gamble play.
And given that neither of our runners has a bow, I can understand wanting to put off Pod. There's only one guaranteed check, and if there's a bow up here or the hammer, that could make a big difference.
plus seeing it's a pendant as well. But Catfish will not pay out, so Palace of Darkness is indeed...
Ooh. That's actually going to put DJ Darkwing back in the light world, because they do not have the mirror, so he doesn't teleport to Pyramid.
One thing I like about watching races is seeing the divergences from older decisions. So here we can see that because DJ Darkwing did not check Aeginus Cave before Aghanim, they're now going back to check this. Possibly also Death Mountain. The check.
Looks like Thorneto might be going for a bottle clip for the Mimic's Ring.
Looks like it. Got a red potion.
Ooh.
So all you have to do is drink a red potion while moving to the left. That might be a little bit too far left, looking at it.
I think so, yeah. So, I believe for the glitch to work, you need to not move right at all during the process, and since they came into the door on the left side, it kind of bumped them right.
It's more important that you just don't move too far left on the camera. Since if you move the screen too far over, you'll lock the camera in place.
Hmm.
It looks like there is a brief enter conversation going on, in which Ashdar may have informed Thorneto that there is most likely a key in the big key chest, which is a useful thing to know about Palace of Darkness, and it's absurdly complicated key logic, is that there have to be certain numbers of keys in the front for you to be able to access the back in logic. And so the number, without being able to go to right side, is 3 keys in the front. So if the big chest was a key, then this would be in logic, but it would just be a key for a key, which would be kind of a waste of time. So the goal is to avoid having to check that big key chest. And there is the magic mirror in Pendant Palace of Darkness.
So I imagine he'll be leaving after he finishes up the checks available to him here to go ahead and go grab that hook shot on Hylia Island, which will give them West Dark World access.
And since we do have the mirror, Thorneto's save and quit is going to put them back on the pyramid, which is convenient here actually, since it will be quicker to get back to Lake Hylia Island. And now we have DJ Darkwing heading over to Palace of Darkness to pick up the mirror. Unfortunately, there is pretty much no way around this. Now the way to get this item is actually a little bit awkward. You can't go across this bridge because of the hammer pegs, assuming that you don't have the hammer. So what you actually have to do is swim around to get to the main lake area, which you can't really do anything from except get Lake Hylia Island.
You can gaze admiringly at Ice Palace.
I'm not sure if admire is the right word here. There's the hook shot.
And it looks like they'll probably be going to Death Mountain to check East Death Mountain first.
In addition to having the mirror, that will also give Tower of Hera access, so we'll be able to clear the entire White Death Mountain. In addition,
They're going there first.
Yeah, having hookshot also opens up the option of Hera Pot. I'm curious to see if DJ Darkwing goes for the potion camera. Looks like we will be seeing it, and so we have another chance to see what's on right side. I believe it has to be one key, and
I unfortunately do not remember the item count for how much we saw, so I can't say for certain.
it's definitely one key, because of the way the key logic in Palace of Darkness works. You need to get 4 keys in the front 6 chests, or you will not be able to actually finish the dungeon properly. So the game always guarantees. Looks like they're going through a bit of a tutorial here on how to do it. Alright, that should... There we go. So now what you can do is grab the wall when your D-pad is neutral, and you'll be able to move the mimics around, even though you're stationary on the wall. So what you can then do is get one of the mimics stuck on the pot, the red one in particular, and then scroll the other ones off the screen. Though seems that we're having a bit of trouble getting the...
Yeah, they'll need to... Okay. Looks like... There.
Very nice. Meanwhile, Thorneto is clearing out Hera Basement for the big key. No Hera Pot here, unfortunately. But getting the big key in the basement will make sure that we are safe from possible issues with the Hera Big Chest. Wow, it's the map on the right side? Map and a key. It's kind of... Here is everyone's favorite boss, Moldorm. It's important to try and not slash this boss if you have Master Sword,
Yeah.
since it will not deal as much damage as a spin attack. It will in fact enable this enraged phase, which is much more difficult to deal with than the normal Moldorm. So you can avoid this with Master Sword by doing 3 spin attacks instead of any pokes or slash.
If you do a poke or slash, you'll want to do another one, as that can help you prevent that enraged phase from.
Yep. We have gotten past the enraged phase, fortunately with no falls, so very nice work getting another crystal. Or actually, I'm not sure why we thought I thought we had another crystal, because we just got.
Well, they have dove a lot of dungeons, so I can understand.
Thorneto actually demonstrating one of my favorite pieces of trivia about Death Mountain is you can actually jump down and land between the rocks there, and if you don't have gloves, then you're stuck. This happened to me exactly once. Here we get Paradox Cave, 7 chests, plenty of potential for. And I
Only turning
believe
up
all
a
we got is
quake.
Quake.
So we still have Spiral Cave, but it's looking more likely that the play was in fact to hookshot across the water to get you West Dark World.
Cleaning up Spiral Cave here is perfectly.
For sure.
Looks like DJ Darkwing is opting to walk out of Palace of Darkness instead of saving and quitting to Pyramid, which I am not entirely certain which is faster. I have a kind of a gut instinct that saving and quitting is faster, but not.
I think it possibly would have been faster if they had walked over to the east drop down into the water, because there's that other drop down right over here on the right. Not certain though.
Yeah, you would skip the swimming that way. Just pretty sure it's it's at least easier to walk over there because there's less chance of
Ooh.
enemies ganking you like that.
Yep.
Not a huge deal though, since we go right back to the pyramid, we can just try again. Will be a fairly significant time loss, but not something that can't be overcome.
I will be curious to see if DJ Darkwing decides to go straight to West Dark World in order to get access to those boots.
Thorneto hooking across the river and then immediately jumping back in the water to go to Catfish, looks like. Possibly reminded by the mentor that Catfish is this is probably the best time to do Catfish, honestly. You're only really coming by this place 1 or 2 times, and you may as well do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a check that's very easy to isolate. I think they might be doing Catfish and then mirroring over to the Zora area since they have enough money now.
Oh yeah, that is a good point. You mentioned earlier the potential of routing Catfish into Zora if we get Mirror, and here we are, we're at Catfish, and we have...
It looks like that is what they're deciding to do. Turns out that Zora ended up having the Sanctuary.
It looks like they were possibly... DJ Darkwing was possibly thinking about Harapot, but then... maybe thinking about it. Talking it over with the mentor here. This does look like the beginning of a Harapot setup with these pegs over here.
Let's see if they can get it.
This is a fairly difficult trick. It requires a couple of pixel lineups here, as well as some possible shenaniganry from the mini Moldorm drop.
It looks like they're on the pixel for the bomb drop now. It's hard to tell.
There are many different setups for Harapot, and this one is one that I'm not actually familiar with. So we'll see if
this is actually...
they get it.
Apologies. I was going to say, this is actually the setup I use.
Oh, interesting.
You go down to that lower peg, and then you sword out to the right, drop a bomb, go up to the peg up above it, and to the right. As long as you line up on the correct pixel for the bomb, it means you don't have to worry about the y-axis.
Oh, I remember this one, I think, now. This is the sub-pixel dependent one, of course. The fact that I feel that I'm obligated to bring up every time I see it, because not enough people know that it's sub-pixel dependent.
So this is costing DJ Darkwing a little bit of time, but honestly, Harapot is a trick like very much worth learning. If you don't know how to do it, I recommend giving it a try. It can save you a lot of time.
Yeah, learning Harapot here is definitely a good time to learn it. Since part of the importance here is that this is actually Ambrosia, so you know you'll be able to just get the last item off the boss, since we got one item in the basement. So the one item in the basement cage plus one item on boss, we're guaranteed not to need the big key if we can do Harapot here. Looks like they're going for a different setup, which looks actually more similar to the one that I use. Which you place a bomb higher up and then navigate to a specific pixel. It is.
I think they actually might have been going over what pixel you need to stand on.
Ooh, you're right. That
Up
makes more
above.
sense. Yeah, I actually use like a really old, outdated Terrapot setup from when it.
I think I know which one you're talking about. I think Sailor Nap actually uses the same one, who is my mentor for this tournament.
Thorneto having a fun time with the best room in Skullwoods.
Best.
Definitely not.
Ooh, definitely gets rewarded for it.
But yep, Mitts will be very.
So that does give us just regular Dark World access now, so we won't need to rely on the Aghanim portal. It's a little bit unfortunate they didn't come here before going to Death Mountain, just because they could have looped in all of the Death Mountain checks while they were there. Dark Death Mountain, rather.
DJ Darkwing in the middle of Herapot here looks to be doing the buffering here. Ooh, not facing the right direction, unfortunately. But I think that was the correct pixel, actually. So I will be very excited if DJ Darkwing manages to get this.
Same.
Since
I really hope they manage.
It's a
It's worth noting, if you do try to do this trick, do not pick up an item that Mini Moldorm drops until it hits the ground. That will throw off your pixels. I'm not sure of the specifics of why that is, but I've definitely had that happen to me.
Yeah, it's some kind of silly jank with the way bomb knockback. Looks like we're not going to see Herapot.
That's too bad. It was a good attempt, though.
It was, yes, it was very close to working. With a little bit more practice, they can definitely get it, and I can see why they might want to abort it now, considering it was costing. But props to DJ Darkwing for deciding to burn Herapot in the middle of a. I unfortunately missed what we got on Mothula. Does not seem to be anything.
I also missed it. Hopefully our tracker can yell at us in chat.
I didn't see anything of the pause menu after Moth, so.
It appears that it was just a heart piece, or a heart this time.
Shovel and chest game, actually pretty nice, since we'll be able to get that as we walk.
And with the mirror, they won't have to skip over K45.
And having mitts as well means we can do Smith Chain along the way, so we will pretty much be done with this entire.
I think the only thing they might end up isolating is hammer pegs. But other than that, I believe you're right.
That might also go along with the back of Thieves Town as well, because we're probably in this just for the boots, seeing as how we don't have a hammer and it is a pendant and all that. Kind of don't want to be here more than is.
For sure. Ooh, looks like DJ Darkwing got a poke on the mini Moldorm fight. Recovered nicely though.
Yeah, Black Wax is referring to the enemy where in front of the entrance to Thieves, where you can just pull on and then. Wow, Boots not in the front. That's unfortunate.
Hopefully they won't turn out to be in that big chest.
So what I'm wondering is if Thorneto will just bail out of the dungeon after getting the boots, since killing blind is going to be a bit of a haul. There are the boots in the attic chest.
Looks like they're gonna stick it out. I think I can understand this. At the very least, since you're already back here, taking blind to her cell. Like, if you die once, you can just leave, but that will save you a lot of time.
Yeah, Thorneto's health is a little bit low, but we do have the cape and half magic, which means that we can stay invincible for a extended period of time. So I'm not super concerned about the blind fight.
Unfortunately, Thorneto not paying attention to their item count. That was guaranteed to be either a small key or the compass, since the last item has to be on blind.
On the other hand, I'm pretty sure that I've opened the chest every single time I go into that cell. It just feels like muscle memory at this point. You just open the chest. That's what you do. And Thorneto going to be switching to the cape. Ooh.
We'll see if they stick it out.
Yeah, DJ Darkwing taking a death on East Death Mountain. And Thorneto taking a death.
Looks like DJ Darkwing is going to go get their Zora check. Get that. Or
Just go at it from a different angle, a little bit.
Thorneto going ahead and preemptively using their cape.
Yep, making use also of a useful little glitch where you can grab the wall while using the cape to not drain magic for the duration of the wall grab. Pretty useful for the blind fight, since you can just grab the wall and not worry about it. And rewarded with the temp.
That is a pretty big deal. Not logically required for anything, but that's such a time save.
Honestly, it might be worth doing blind just to get that tempered sword. It seems to me that Darkwing has really no other options than to go to West Darkworld at this point in order to pick up the mitts and Skullwoods.
Yeah, I believe they've exhausted the checks available to them otherwise, except for possibly Spiral Cave, which I believe they died before they could.
Fortunately, getting mitts in Skullwoods is going to be a very convenient way to route Spiral Cave back in, since if we have mitts and Mirror, we will be able to do that along with Dark Death Mountain. Thorneto is actually skipping the Smith Chain, which is only 2 items, but can be a little bit difficult to route in otherwise.
Suppose it's possible they're wanting to hold off on it until they have the hammer, so they can do hammer pegs too. Who knows how.
And for all you know, the hammer could be chilling with the blacksmiths. They just give you one of their. And here comes Hype Cave. Rather poorly named in this version.
I'd say that's pretty safe, though. Hammer is such a
Yes, definitely important to find. Hammer and Hype Cave is honestly not a great place to find it, considering you had to leap all the way around the world for it. But now we can go to Swamp Palace. So before Hype Cave, we didn't have Hammer. Swamp Palace is just the first check, rather unappealing. Now we have the Hammer. Swamp Palace is 6 checks and a crystal. Very good.
I'll be curious to see if they attempt the bomb setup for down. They can't do the Cane of Samaria, which I personally find much easier, but would make left side.
Alright, DJ Darkwing heading to Skullwoods. We'll hopefully find the mitts fairly quickly. looks like we will see the Skullwood's middle check. Going to use Bombos to clear out the Gibdos. Pretty good. Honestly, a fine choice because they are pretty annoying.
Probably would have been faster to just use the Fire Rod, but
sometimes you just
anything to get.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need to nuke them.
No such thing as overkill when it comes to. So I believe Thorneto did decide to go ahead and skip left side swamp. I'll be curious to see if they come back in for it or if they just abandon.
We will not be seeing Diver down though. There is our final medallion, so we won't have to worry about that for Mire and Turtle Rock.
But
definitely
could be convenient
nice.
for bidding. Makes Trinex slightly faster and of course useful.
Yeah, on the other hand, getting Gold Sword is a significantly smaller upgrade than Master Distempered. So the fact that Thorneto went and killed Blind for the Tempered Sword becomes much less significant now that we have a sword right on the critical path. Very easy to get to, which means that if DJ Darkwing decides to skip Blind and not get the Tempered Sword from there and instead gets Tempered from Swamp, that could be a time save for Darkwing.
For sure. Fortunately, not finding much else in terms of progression inside Swamp, so. That being said, we do have Mire access along with Desert Palace access, so still plenty of places to check.
Looks like Thorneto is also opting to skip left side Swamp. I believe it only has one item, since I believe we didn't find either the map or the compass. I'm not sure. Oh, sorry, we didn't find the map or big key, I think. Was not paying super close attention to the exact items out of it, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain we didn't see the big key. I can't recall with the map and compass.
And we are going to take the big bomb. Since we just finished Swamp Palace, we unlock it with our 2 red crystals. And then because we've defeated Aghanim, we can take a shortcut to the pyramid.
Thorneto not deciding to take the free bottle refill. They do, however, get their blue mail. Definitely a pleasant safety.
Another interesting thing to see here as we go into Desert Palace is whether boots are actually required, because there is only a 50% chance that boots are really required for Desert Palace, which means that it's possible that we don't even have to go into Thieves Town at all.
Don't know for certain, but does the chance of that change with Ambrosia, since one item is guaranteed to be on Landmo?
No, it doesn't matter. We only care about the key layouts as far as beating the dungeon is concerned, which means that the distribution of map and compass and whatever is of no concern to us.
I more just meant like the possibility for something not required for clearing the dungeon to show up on the torch.
Looks like the torch is actually just 50 rupees though, which means that getting boots is possibly not required. Looks like DJ Darkwing is going to be getting them anyway though, which is completely understandable. They're very nice to have. And fast. Alright, we are coming up on the Landmolus fight here. We do have Gold Sword and Fire Rod, so this should be a pretty quick fight.
Hopefully we'll see a nice one cycle for Thorneto.
Taking out 2 of the Landmos on the first cycle, and the third one quick to follow. Nothing in Desert Palace, unfortunately, but it is a required crystal dungeon, and it's a fairly quick clear, so we didn't really lose any time over a go mode clear of this dungeon anyway.
For sure.
So here, DJ Darkwing coming up on the boots. I'm interested to see whether we bail or stay. We stay.
So it looks like they'll also be getting their Tempered Sword here. Ooh, a bow
look at
showing
that.
up in Checkerboard Cave.
Bow is actually really not that significant, just means go back to Eastern and get your 1 item off the boss. Yay.
I mean, it's still nice to not have to go on a bow hunt.
On the other hand, you might be getting an Ice Rod hunt instead, considering the only 2 items we need left are Cane of Samaria and the Ice Rod.
Alright, well, you didn't have to curse them.
Hehehehe. I'm sure it will be fine. Ice Rod is just on Armor Sights. We will have no Ice Rod hunt today.
4 hours.
Thorneto is back in Palace of the Darkness, which is a little interesting. There is only one more item left to be gotten here, which is on the boss. It's also a pendant.
So I believe they don't remember the item count, so they don't know that's a key and map over here on the boat lock.
That is a little unfortunate, but it won't take too long to. DJ Darkwing finishing off Blind, getting the Tempered Sword and the. It is actually possible to deduce, based on what you have seen already in this dungeon, that the right side has to be a small key and the map. If you count all of your keys, you can know that there has to be a key on the right side because there can't be a key on the boss. And if you follow the Ambrosia logic, you know that you can't have the map on the boss, so it has to be on the right side. And so then you can deduce what the right side is. Vash just typed out a text wall that I would really like to read, but uh, does seem that Thorneto is going for Helmasaur, which is going to be the second pendant cleared. And Ice Palace is actually available to clear, which means something something chat's favorite word.
I'll admit, I am a little surprised they decided to go to Pod rather than just dive into Ice Palace directly, given the higher density of checks in Ice Palace. With any luck, we won't see that.
Well, part of it might be due to the fact that we do have to come over here to get the Eastern Palace crystal anyway. So they may have been thinking, oh, let's just clear out this location while we're here.
And just 20 rupees.
Looks like DJ Darkwing is doing Smith Chain, which Thorneto decided to skip. So this will be 2 extra items. One from the blacksmith, which appears to have been nothing, and one from the purple chest, which we must be careful not to abandon when we mirror, otherwise it will go away. We are going to see another useful little glitch here. You can actually leave the purple chest behind in the dark world, as DJ Darkwing has done here, and then go over to the purple chest guy. And then, because the game doesn't remove the purple chest from existing until after it loads this guy into existence. He gives you the item, even if the So here's Hype Cave. Darkwing will be picking up the hammer here. And then that mostly puts DJ Darkwing in line with what Thorneto has, minus Ether Medallion, which is maybe not even required, and is pretty easy to get in Swamp Palace, and the bow, which is in Checkerboard Cave and also not hard to get. So really we're looking at Samaria and Ice Rod here.
And it looks like DJ Darkwing is probably going... Okay. Probably going to also dive into Swamp Palace after getting...
And common misconception actually about the purple chest glitch that people were talking about. You don't really have to be close to the guy at all. You can honestly be pretty far away. He just needs to be loaded into memory, which means basically he's on the screen. So it's pretty lenient, as in you have half a screen to do it. I always hear stuff about like, oh, it's a pixel perfect trick or it's frame perfect. Like, no, it's huge. There is like no precision to it whatsoever.
Our most knights, unfortunately, getting a little bit away from Thorneto, but...
And hey, there's the other boomerang. DJ Darkwing got the blue boomerang from Purple Chest, and the red boomerang is on our most knights. Yeah, also don't like mirror onto the purple chest guy, then it doesn't work. Alright, I'm interested to see where Thorneto is going now. Looks actually a save and quit. Not sure where we're going. We've cleaned up pretty much all of the crystals that are clearable, plus some pendants that are clearable as well, which means that our next decision is not super obvious.
I thought that they were going to go to Dark Death Mountain, check Hookshot Cave and all that, but then they saved and quit.
Yeah, looks like we're getting
Guess
boots checks instead. Hey, here is a pro tip for everybody, since we're sharing pro tips related to mirroring. You should mirror and read a sign at the same time. But don't do it in a race. Just on your own time. The result is very interesting.
Not sure I'm a fan of interesting. So it looks like Darkwing is also deciding to skip. I was kind of hoping they'd check it, given it was very likely that Thornado was going to last location that, and if we saw progression there, it had the possibility of being a...
Incoherent recognizes that I am a mean person. Timp wants to know. So, if you mirror in the dark world and read a sign on the exact same frame, so you press A and Y at the same time, your game crashes and makes some funny sounds. It is actually worth listening to and doing once because it's really interesting. I think. Uh, a Link to the Past crashes in like a really interesting way instead of most kind of like modern stuff where it just black screens or something. The game makes a bunch of flashing colors and weird textures and also plays random sounds from the game audio.
So it looks like we just have a progressive armor on the pedestal, so highly unlikely they'll be coming back for that, even if they do.
Yeah, there are signs all over the Dark World. There's one like north of Thieves Town. There's one near the pyramid. It's not too hard to find.
Just check how many tablets you need to kill Gan.
Yeah, you can also use the randomizer sign outside on the pyramid. That one works as well. Looks like Darkwing is going back in for Left Side Swamp though, so you will get your wish, Mary, and we'll get to see what is over here.
Come on, Ice Run.
Meanwhile, Thorneto is going to cover some new ground, head over to Dark Death Mountain and see what's over there. We will probably not be able to get into Turtle Rock, considering we need the Cane of Samaria. But if we do get... Oh, there's a Dead Rock. Dead Rocks are the worst.
I mean, technically speaking, you can't go into Turtle.
You can't get any checks there, unless you can, hover a very, very wide gap. You can check the hint tile. Old meta. Hint tiles are no longer allowed. Hey, there's another bow. Interesting.
Yeah. Quickshot Cave, giving us some decent items. Nothing required so far, but silver arrows and magic powder are a decent combo.
Unfortunately,
So it looks like we're
no progression in these items. Contemplating a save and quit, but then heading back out, probably to check Spike Cave. Alright, left side had big key and map, which means that we have to go back to the big chest.
looks like Thorneto is going to be diving into Ice Palace.
Yeah, we are running out of locations to check, honestly.
It's either this or Dip Mire, hoping for.
And left side swamp, unfortunately, not paying out for DJ Darkwing, just a piece of heart. That is a pretty significant time sink. Yeah, the hint system in the 2019 Mentor Tournament was a fun time. I believe I just had a hint document up for every single racer that I mentored. Just like, what does this mean? I need to make sure.
Just playing the mystery tournament, and you might see a hint one.
Looks like we're also going to see Ice Palace performed in a slightly more normal fashion, where we do not have the Cane of Samaria to perform the ever-handy Icebreaker. So we will see possible Ice Palace Bomb Jump here, something you don't see too much anymore. Used to be in almost every single race, now is much less common. Cleanly executed.
Still a useful trick to learn, considering when you don't have the Cane of Samaria, this dungeon is a huge pain in the butt if you don't.
And I believe we did get a Meyer Medallion check. It is Ether. Not particularly useful considering both runners have every medallion, but interesting to know that Swamp Palace did have. So far, we have not gotten anything in Ice Palace, and it is a pendant, so not really the best. Although, honestly, there's not really many better choices.
Everybody loves a vanilla Meyer die.
Blah. Meyer and Ambrosia's so bad. Dip. Let's just go find one item. Haha, it's in the cutscene chest. Right, DJ Darkwing coming into Land Molus, like Thorneto had. We have Gold Sword and Fire on, so should be getting a pretty quick fight here. Unfortunately, the third one giving a short hop.
I think Ice Palace managed to hide literally every single one of its checks in the final 3 levels.
Yep, so here's Cold Stare. This is 2 items, since the green pendant will also give us 1. We won't be getting a pedestal pull though, because we've already checked what's on pedestal, just a armor upgrade. And we already have blue mail, so it's not particularly useful. With Gold Sword and half magic and Fire Rod, Cold Stare goes down very easily. Oh
And
no.
there's Arcane of
You
Samari.
serious? Are you serious? It's so bad. Oh, that's disgusting. Not only is Cane of Samaria in the dungeon that gets like an entire minute faster when you have it, it's also on the boss of a pendant dungeon. Of course.
So technically, Thieves Town was the only pendant dungeon this seed that didn't have progression. And there was no way people were going to avoid that with the Boots hint for there.
Yeah, it's Mirror and Pod, Boots and Thieves, Samaria and Ice. Blah. Yep, so I expect that Thorneto will just grab whatever items here and then head straight over to Meyer. Yeah, Incoherent makes a great point here. If Samaria is an Ice Palace bomb jump is absolutely critical. Definitely very important to know. I would still rate Ice Palace bomb jump as higher on the priority list than Icebreaker, just because it can be used every seed.
I'm going to disagree, just because Icebreaker makes Ice Palace not suck. Don't do Ice Palace, kids.
Have you honestly, like Ice Palace without even Ice Palace bomb jump is so bad that Ice Palace bomb jump is even more powerful in making it suck less. Like, honestly, I've done some vanilla runs where you're not allowed to use bomb jumps because I hate myself or something, and Ice Palace is a nightmare.
Yeah, I did a vanilla, like, the expected route clear once just to see what it was like. And I was like, who thought this dungeon was a good idea?
And there is the crystal for DJ Darkwing. I don't believe we've gotten the item in Mire yet. I haven't been paying too much attention to where the item is. Or maybe we don't even have the big key.
I think they're still looking for the big key.
Either way, Misery Mire and Ambrosia is awful. Go find big key and one item. There's
Okay, my apologies. I missed the big.
Yeah, it looks like Thorneto decided to try and skip the cutscene chest, which unfortunately has resulted in getting every other chest in the dungeon before going. This is why I don't like Ambrosia Mire. It's because if you want to skip this check, half the time you can't, but you want to anyway because it's really annoying.
I think people want to skip this check even outside of Ambrosia, but definitely even more so.
Oh, really?
So we do still have the magic bat check. I don't believe Thorneto ever went back for that. Possible that the ice rod could be on magic bat, the mushroom turn in, or the hammer.
Yeah, Thorneto has not even done Smith sequence at all, so you can see a fully efficient route putting all of them together. Looks like Darkwing was trying to get a hook dash there for super speed. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get it. Alright, Thorneto coming into Vitreous here. Should be a pushover with silver arrows.
Also going to show that wall who's. I hope you're happy with yourself. Cursing these poor runners with an ice rod, huh?
At this point, we really don't have too many options because we've actually gone through all of the pendants on Thorneto's side, which means that really we just have Smith Chain, and we're gonna see the Mushroom turn in here, and then TR really, and that's about it. Honestly, I can see both Smith Chain and TR being viable options. TR is 5 checks, Smith Chain is going to be a total of 4, because we have Powder and Hammer Pegs along with it. So I can, and it's a little bit faster to do Smith Chain, so I can see it. With our knowledge as viewers, we know that 2 of those checks are nothing, which makes it seem less viable in our eyes. But to Thorneto, who has not seen 2 of those checks, it becomes about as good as TR.
That's a good question. Do you know if Thorneto ever checked Bombo's tablet? I forgot.
No, I don't believe so. I don't think we ever had a chance to see what it was anyway. So yeah, along with Purple Chest, that bumps it up to 5 and puts it in line. Yeah, it is actually quite startling to look at how much of the game we've cleared. Both of the runners have done most of the pendants. Darkwing is going to be forced into Ice Palace, and so both of our runners will have all dungeons completed by the end of the seed. Yeah, TR has 5 items total. One of them is an extra one from Mimic Cave, but then one of the items is on Trinex guaranteed because of Ambrosia stuff, which means that we get a total of 5 there, and 5 with the Smith Chain routing. So in Thorneto's eyes, they're equal. Alright, DJ Darkwing heading to Spiky Cave now. I believe this will be about the last possible thing that they can do before heading over to Ice Palace. I can't think of anything else. Oh, well, there's the Ice Rod.
And with that, Thorneto has entered Go mode with only 215 checks.
Unfortunately, the purple chest is causing some shenanigans here. Ideally, in order to save time, Darkwing would actually like to get Ice Rod before Samaria. And if that happens, then we can go mode fire, which is faster, obviously, than trying to get the mushroom in the cutscene chest. But at this point, Thorneto is quite far ahead. It's an entire Ice Palace full clear ahead, without Icebreaker, for that matter. So it looks like Darkwing will actually be picking up Ice Rod in just a moment here. I have to wonder personally what Thorneto is thinking right now, and Ajder, the mentor, as well, considering getting go mode at 147 is not a particularly great feeling. Saw it pretty late, and on top of that, having finished every pendant dungeon, some of which were unnecessary, has also got to be not a great feeling. Unaware that Darkwing on the other side has also finished all of the pendants. This is not really a great situation for either runner. Even if you are ahead, it still definitely feels like you're behind here.
Definitely.
So Darkwing is now armed with the Ice Rod. Unfortunately, still missing Samaria, which is on Pendant Cold Stare. The concern with your thought process is not... It's not, oh, the cane was hard to get. It's that, oh, I cleared Thieves Town and I cleared Palace of Darkness and I didn't have to do that. Because both of those are pretty significant time sinks. Darkwing will get the book in Bonk Rocks here. Not particularly useful and may actually lead them down a wrong path.
Hopefully that doesn't happen, but I could definitely see making that choice given both going into Ice Palace without the Cane of Samaria and just the fact that it's a pendant and not super.
It looks like they're opting to follow the book and to go to Bombos. Yeah, all things considered, this is a pretty nasty seed. Progression in all the pendants, except Boots. Well, Boots is sort of progression anyway. And just kind of generally a bad feeling all around. But hey, it's rando. Sometimes you get that.
Not sure where Darkwing is heading to. I don't know what Death Mountain checks they haven't done. Is it Spike Kick?
Ether Tablet.
Right.
I honestly don't think that chasing book like this is better than going into Ice Palace. It could be a bit of like an anti-meta play, like, you know, people go into dungeons, so we're gonna avoid dungeons, or it could be just trying to get the fast overworld out of the way, or questionably fast anyway.
Could also be that they're feeling behind, so they're trying to make a gamble, assuming that Thorneto would go to Ice Palace before finishing off book checks.
Right, gamble plays as well. Looks like they are possibly gearing up for Ice Palace though now. Going to buy some potions.
And Thorneto gets a clean Trinex kill. So, we do like to play a little guessing game here. There are 22 checks available to our runners in Ganon's Tower, where the big key could be. Could be in any of our checks from 1 to 22. If you would like to take a guess, go ahead and put your number into chat now. We will be closing the guessing game once Thorneto enters GT.
I mean, personally, I always have to say 1, just because I hate seeing extended GT clears that are unnecessary. So you gotta get that early key.
I think I generally go with number 3. I like seeing a really early key, but 3 just, gives routing options.
Alright, mirroring out of the right side, so we're probably going to see a standard Pope route here. Well, there's our guesses shot down.
Rip in peace.
Meanwhile, on the right side, DJ Darkwing is in Misery Mire without the Cane of Samaria, which is going to be a fairly extended process to get the mushroom, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's really disappointing.
Yeah, was that 4? Is that the big key?
Well, wasn't an extended search, so you sort of got your wish.
It looks like Darkwing is going to be employing similar routing to Thorneto in Misery Mire, trying to avoid the cutscene chest for as long as possible, which will unfortunately turn out to backfire here.
Thorneto gained a 2-cycle on land.
Not bad at all, and manages to skip the menu to Fire Rod, which a lot of people perform there, saving maybe a little bit of time with that. Although I can't say that I've seen a 1-cycle land mows without the use of some other. All in all, the GT climb going pretty well for Thorneto. No major. I was very worried that I jinxed it for a second, that we were going to see Jingle Glitch, but fortunately. So at this point, Darkwing has done pretty much all of the game, and I think just has Ice Palace.
Yeah, I don't think there's literally any other check they can make.
This is pretty rough on both of our runners. Last locationing a lot of things in the seed.
I don't know if they ever checked what was on Bumper Ledge, but that's the only place I can think that they might not have done. And Thorneto is now on their way to Gammon.
Yeah, considering we have here Gold Sword and Silver Arrows, as well as Blue Mail and plenty of hearts, Ganon will be relatively easy by Ganon standards. Taking down phases 1 and 2 nice and quickly, although taking a bunch of damage from the fire bats. Fortunately, we have blue potions. So to change your focus for a moment, Darkwing is doing IPBJ.
Looks like their mentor is walking them through the process for it. Hopefully they should be able to get this.
And Thorneto is on phase 4 of Ganon.
And with that, Ganon is dead. And with that, Thorneto has finished with a time of 2:04 and 34 seconds.
And we will be getting Thorneto here for an interview shortly. So hold tight until then. And here we have Thorneto and Ajdaja. GG.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was definitely a rough seed to be playing.
Yes, it was. A
You
few really weird things I'd never run into before there.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous.
By our count, 2 of the pendant dungeons were hard acquired, and one of them was for the boots, which you don't really want to pass up.
Yeah.
So you have to dip all the pendants.
Yeah, so we put them off for a while, but I was like, my thinking was I suggested we go to Death Mountain as soon as we got Mirror and Hookshot, because if Hammer or Mitz show up there, then it makes the Dark World routing a lot better, and it also means we don't isolate the Beasttown Big Chest. But he was like, it ended up being really hard to weigh that decision against knowing that Boots were in Beasttown. So I think we ended up losing some time on that.
Yeah, we definitely did some pendants we probably didn't need to. I mean, the fact that we had that one item on Cold Stare was a pretty big deal. Kane, I think.
Of course, it's Kane, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna get word on blind. It's not like it's a total loss ending up doing that after you get your boots, but still not the greatest feeling. And
It was not bad until like I saw the 4th sword show up kind of on the way. Then it felt
Yeah, because the sword was a nice prize, but then when we got the 4th one, it's kind of cheapens that.
yeah, especially because it's right on the way in Swamp Palace. You can't miss it.
Yeah, exactly.
so when we got the bow, I was just like, okay, yeah, now we're gonna go do Pod Eastern. Obviously, I had forgotten that Pod is a pendant. He didn't have it marked on his tracker as a pendant, and I didn't have game audio watching his stream, so I didn't catch it, and I just like totally forgot about it.
Yeah, we were wondering why we were heading back into Palace of Darkness, although DJ Darkwing wound up doing that as well. So, didn't hurt
I'm
you in the end.
surprised because that's like something that you pretty much last location in this situation, I think.
Yeah, it's like pendant boss by itself, nothing else.
I also miscounted our Ice Palace items, so I
yeah,
thought we.
the big chest.
Yeah,
was,
so I thought like
eh,
we
not a big
did
deal.
the worst thing. Like Big Key and Iced Tea to Big Chest
Oh,
with just a
yeah, I
tea was
didn't.
terrible.
I didn't see the big key and iced tea. I thought it was just an item that you had to go get. But yeah, then it becomes unfortunate. Although it looks like DJ Darkwing has just opened the Ice Palace big chest as well.
Well, that's good. Sounds like they're on their way to what they need, so that's good.
Yep.
yeah, this is unfortunately a literal hard last location for DJ Darkwing. They ended up clearing everything else available to.
Yeah, damn.
this is-
We did mostly everything. I think we just skipped Purple Chest and the tablet down there, and I think we got mostly everything else.
Yeah, and you guys were
also
prepared to route it in after Magic Bat too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so when we did Death Mountain before going to get the boots, and, didn't find anything there, and then we basically at the point that we had killed Blind for that pendant, we done literally every check that was up until then. We hadn't skipped anything or left it till later, so I was like, okay, well, we have to skip something, so we're gonna skip Smith Chain. And then at the end, when we had, kind of 1.5 pendants that we kind of shouldn't have had, it was more like, I was hoping Ped would reward us, but even if it didn't, even if it didn't, I figured we should check Ped to see if we should rush to the end or not. But even if it didn't, even if we didn't know that Ped was dead, Ice was still the most dense thing that was left, and it made the most sense to go. And it seemed when we got the cane at the end there, then it's just okay, probably made some time back, and now we can afford to route in some of these checks that we skipped before, because going into T-Rock with that Ice Rod would be really, really bad if it was there. Or sorry, if it wasn't there.
Yeah, it turns out that the number of checks that you would get on both paths, you either do Smith Chain, which is actually, if you include Magic Bat, Hammer Pegs, and Bombos Tablet, winds up to be the same number of items you'd get going to TR, so it kind of evens out. And
does it?
Yeah, 5 items in both.
Just
DJ
one.
Darkwing just
one
got
one
8
punish is harder than the other, though, so we went the safer choice, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I was thinking though that it felt like we were behind enough that that we might that going T-Rock might have been the better bet. It would have punished us worse than skipping. The remaining overall checks would have helped us. So my guess would be that DJ Darkwing got the boots a lot long before us. Maybe didn't do the mountain that early, but
No, you actually basically had the exact same routing. They did Death Mountain first before going over to West Dark World and getting their boots in Thieves Town. They also did Skullwoods before going into Thieves Town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there were a couple of micro routing differences. They left some of the Light World checks. I think Agina's Cave for after Aghanim, but beyond that, it was fair.
My issue is leaving the Light World checks. Is I usually don't like doing every single thing in the Light World before going in. We had no items to open up things in the Dark World. There's no bow to make sure more pod is in Logic, and there's no hookshot to get. Or we knew where hookshot was, but we didn't have mirror to guarantee that we could get it. So it was kind of Agha was not a great bet, even though it was probably going to be required.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You don't want your only option to be Catfish and Boas Pod. They're both kind of gross.
And especially with gloves, I mean,
Unfortunately.
we only needed mitts or hammer, so it kind of gave us an extra incentive to keep looking.
So, how different was the end game routing? I guess because he's last location to Ice, right?
I mean, more or less just going everywhere except Lace Palace, including into Misery Mire. And
Okay, yeah.
doing Mire without Kane here is a massive punish because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
mushroom in the slowest chest, and then mushroom leads to nothing.
Yeah.
I was thinking. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say they tried putting off like Ice Palace as long as they could, so it's really unfortunate about that game of Samaria location.
This seed had no good decisions. Like after you,
Yeah,
after you got Bow, after you did Eastern, there were no good decisions to make.
yeah, we kind of struggled
Yeah,
the
like-
whole way.
Yeah, I don't blame you, considering it's just, oh, where's Samaria? Where's Ice Rod? It's somewhere. The seed, if you'd skipped more things, it could have turned into a full-blown Ice Rod hunt with like 50 locations left and go run around.
That was the nice thing about all the extra stuff we did. Oh yeah, we skipped Spike Cave too. That
You
was-
also actually skipped Left Side Swamp, so there was the possibility of that final item in Swamp being.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. That was a good skip though. It was fun.
I had
Yeah,
that.
one
I-
item on
I-
the left side swamp. Definitely.
But I did forget
Yeah, part
about
of-
it. Like I probably wouldn't have thought about it if it came down to it.
I had it in the back of my mind, so I would have brought it up.
Okay, at least one of this. I was like forgetting stuff like I forgot the Ambrosia rule a couple times.
Yeah, it's so hard to keep the Ambrosia rule in your head. Just like constantly thinking about it, and you have to change all your dungeon routes and everything on the fly if you're. So that's just about everything I wanted to talk about. Mary, if you have anything else you'd like to bring up, and if Thorneto and Ajdaja have anything else to.
No, this seed just seemed bad.
My seeds are always bad. Pretty typical for me, actually.
Mood.
But no, GG to DJ, and good luck on the rest of his run there, and good luck with his race next week. Nice thing about Swiss is that we all get to race for a whole bunch. Just cool.
Yeah, and congratulations again on your win.
Thank you, and thanks for commentating and tracking and all of that.
See ya.
Well, thank you, Astor.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, make sure to check out our runner and mentor on Twitch, because Ashdar in particular is very good. He's a very well established member of the community. Thorneto is definitely showing a lot of promise. Already a good runner. Even on the seed, like it's this one's awful. So he handled it very. So back on the right side, DJ Darkwing has confirmed that he wants to finish out the entire seed, so we will be seeing the rest of Turtle Rock in the Ganon's Tower climb.
That's completely understandable. This tournament is all about learning, so makes sense not to give up halfway through.
DJ Darkwing stealing the key here. So this is the thing that you do in Go Mode Turtle Rock is you want to steal this pokey key. Although it can have some interesting consequences, because it is possible actually to not get a key on a laser bridge or in any of the chests before laser bridge that you can check easily. So going through this door here and going up through the big key door is a very small gamble, like 98% chance that you get a key in the following 5 chests, but there is a approximately 2% chance that you don't get a key, and then you're very sad because you have to backtrack all the way. You can't even mirror because you have to because the last time you were outside was at the top of Turtle Rock, and then when you get the big key or the small key, sorry, from the big chest, you just walked outside, so you can't mirror at a laser bridge. So you have to go all the way back down. Very unfortunate when that happens, but there's not really too much you can do to avoid it. Right, that's why it's such a small chance, because the key layout has to be very specific. Darkwing coming up on Trinex. We've got half magic and gold sword, so Trinex shouldn't be too difficult here.
Remembering to swap to the fire rod before killing the fire. I always manage to not going for the double spin, but still getting a fairly quick Trinex kill.
And we are headed over to Ganon's Tower, where we can actually speculate about what route DJ Darkwing will be taking here, because we know where the big key is. It's in the Stalfos room. But we also know there's a key on the right side in one of the first 2 chests, which means that there's actually a couple of different possibilities here. The first one, and kind of the desirable one, is that we either get the 2 chests or we go the DM route, and then we get the big key quickly. The less desirable one is that we do something like hybrid. We go through the right side, and we don't get the big key quickly. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, because they're both possible. So here's that small key I was talking about. It looks like they are actually going to go through the right side, fortunately. So we know the big key isn't over here.
Yeah.
So this will be a unfortunate.
This is a pretty common play if folks find a small key in Hope Room. So can't blame them, but it just turned out to not be right this time.
Whoopsies. That is.
Well. Oh no,
Oh,
they're
no.
going back.
Well, that's a little silly. I can't actually say I've seen that before. Swinging your sword at the red beetle and getting knocked backwards into the warp.
That's. Oh, that's gotta feel.
So Darkwing swung their sword at the red beetle to get it off of them, and then that swing propelled them exactly into the warp tile, which is definitely a yeah. I don't know about going back after that, honestly. Like, you just kind of have to hope it's not there and just continue with hybrid. And there's the big key in the Stalfos room. Yeah, you can only do it with a sword swing, because if you take damage, you have invincibility frames, and you can't teleport if you have the invincibility. So it only happens if you swing the sword. Something of note, actually, is that in this particular room in Ganon's tower with all the spikes, both runners opted to go for the slower strategy where you walk across the top row and avoid damage. But in general, I find that it's usually better to just go for the strategy where you take 3 hearts of damage and, like, whatever. Because going around the top is a lot slower, and I personally don't think it's worth it, because there are pretty easily accessible fairies if you think you're low on health. So I just always go for the damage strat.
Well, not all of us are that great.
It's really not that bad. You can even walk through the spikes, and I think you'll still only take 3 hearts of damage. Maybe 4, I'm not sure. But it's really not so bad, and it's a lot faster than going around the top. There's fewer snags that you can hit, because the crystal switches are a little bit weird with their hitboxes. Thank you, Tepedino, for the 9-person raid. Welcome, everyone, to the
We are on the tail end of our match today. Thorneto has, in fact, finished already, but we are seeing DJ Darkwing finish out their GP climb, and
Ooh. That actually is not something that I see too often. Usually I see a left side block in the 4 Wizrobe room. Seeing right side block and the 1 cycle on the Wizrobes is pretty nice. Fortunately, not a big deal. Since we've got plenty of magic, we can afford to take a fall and relight the torches. I was about to mention Darkwing's magic. It looks like they've got that taken care of. Heading back into the previous room just to grab the full magic pot underneath the skull. Can be a little bit sketchy to go into Ganon without that much magic, even with silver arrows. If you're not super comfortable in your ability to land all the hits and light the torches quickly.
yeah, I wasn't sure if they by chance had a second blue potion in one of their bottles, which was why they were skipping the magic, but
Yeah, second blue
seems like they
potion would.
decided to go back.
Ooh, double hit on Aga 2. That one was a pretty tricky hit to get. This Aga 2 is actually giving some fairly rough patterns.
But they clean it up in the end.
Darkwing's health is a little bit low here. Hopefully they do have a blue potion in reserve. Not actually sure.
I think they have the fairy in a bottle that they got earlier in this.
That would provide a decent bit of safety. Oh, there's a blue potion. We're alright. Oh, does manage to get torch glitch here with the fire rod. So if you light the left torch before the right torch goes out, then it will cause the right torch to remain permanently lit. Unfortunately, taking a death to the fire bad, but we do have that fairy that you mentioned, so we are perfectly fine.
So something worth mentioning, just in case folks don't know, you won't be able to hit Ganon with a second silver arrow if he reaches the edge of the arena. So in order to get doubles or triples, you need to fire from a side that pushes him towards empty space rather than the edges. And that is GG for DJ Darkwing, with an official racetime.gg time of 2:36:55. Congratulations to Darkwing. We should be getting them in here for an interview.
Yeah, here we are. GG.
GG, that was a lot of fun.
I hate rankings
Awesome.
sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was an impressively terrible seed, honestly.
It-
Well, there were points where, as we were going through, and DJ was killing stuff, I'm like, hey, we've got 3 or 4 different options we can do. Not bad options, but none of them are really good options. Which ones do you want to do?
Yep. That sounds about right.
So, like, for example, when we hit Meyer, I said, dude, we got Ice Palace or a Meyer to find Red King. Do you want to gamble or do you want to make the conservative play? We decided to go gamble. Happened to not be there, so...
I mean, from how fast Thorneto finished, I think it was already behind at that point. I'm pretty sure he made quite a few really great decisions in this game.
It'll be interesting to see, going back to see how Coy moved oh no, it was Aston. To see how well they kind of went through and did everything.
Yeah, that unfortunately, just with the way progression was in this seed, it really necessitated you visiting almost everywhere to actually finish.
Yeah, there were really not many good options, especially since this was an AGA 1 seed. And I don't know if we ended up making that gamble earlier than what Thorneto did, but as soon as we did South Shore, and I was like, okay, we can dip Eastern, but if nothing's there, we've got 3 checks in Logic. We should just go kill AGA and just deal with it. And we ended up doing that. We ended up routing a little bit differently to go up just to check Catfish. Then we did all of our Orphan checks and then hitting Pod, which, you know, gave us the glove and was able to, that was Flippers to get hook shots.
Was Mirror.
Yeah, Mirror
Yeah.
and over to get hook shot. So, yeah, just not super fun placement for that Red Cane, so that happens.
Yeah, my big fear was like my first game is going to be some ridiculous AGA 1 plus you got to go get pedestal. I honestly thought that's what we were going towards at the moment.
You could have pulled pedestal
It
at
was
the end if you
close
wanted.
enough.
You know what? It did cross my mind. Thorneto had already finished. Screw it. Why not just go do it? Just see what it is.
It's either a shield or an armor.
It was an armor, I think, because it said the unknown hat.
Yes, that is armor.
That's an armor.
Okay,
For
that's what I thought.
some reason.
I've said that there's really not much else it could have been.
Yeah. So no, that was a really exciting game. I do want to say thank you again to Worldwide Wimpy. He was a huge help. I know you guys saw quite a few times where I was stopping and trying to do different stuff, and he was really trying to walk me through so much, and I definitely learned a ton. Whether it was some glitches, whether it was some small minor things that are just going to add up over time and save me time, or some good routing decisions. He was fantastic, and I want to say thank you again.
No problem, anytime. What I'm here for is what they don't pay me to do.
Yeah, I would actually like to draw attention to one of the specific instances, and I think probably the first major instance was Harapot, since you spent a lot of time working on Harapot there, and you actually almost got it. Like you got the pixel and everything, and you got the right knockback. You just weren't facing the right direction. So
That's what he said.
Yeah, you could definitely get it if you put a little bit more time into it.
Yeah,
so that's really great to see.
Yeah, I'm going to be spending some time on the practice seed that I literally just found out was a thing. So Worldwide Wimpy said he's going to send me that, and I'll be able to get in some practice this week. One of the unfortunate things is I didn't have a lot of practice in the last week because I was so sick. Thought I had caught it. Don't know if we can say the actual word. Thankfully, it was a negative test, but no, I'd been really sick for the past week, so didn't have a lot of chance for practice. So
Hope you're feeling better now.
Absolutely, I can breathe again.
Ooh.
Very important.
Yes, yeah. Which doesn't. I want to point out, I'm not saying that to say Thorneto wouldn't have won had that been the case. But I think I would have done a little bit better in this seat. But I've heard good things about him. I know he's a fantastic runner. And GG to Thorneto.
No, I think you would have been crushed anyways, even if you got
A vote of confidence.
Oh, I mean, he knows my skill now.
He didn't mess up on any bosses. He killed them all in one shot, and this seat just had poor routing and had poor choices for you to make.
Yeah, there were a couple of spots where I screwed up and died, like in the overworld. Like I remember when we were heading up to Spiral Cave, and I tried that. Thankfully, when we checked it later, it turned out to be nothing. But that was something that was kind of in the back of my mind through a good portion of the seed.
I always figure as long as you do your bosses clean, you do your glitches clean, everything else is then up to randomness.
Yeah.
When we cleared out Eastern, I told him, hey, we're kind of already over here. We're looking for 2 items. We know there's an item on Helmsword. She should kill him. Just kill him, get him out of the pool, and we don't have to worry about it. Because if he does have the item and we move, we're going to have to come back. We're here. Let's do it.
Yeah, it was definitely the good call.
So I was just more or less just trying to give him a good reflection of grouping up stuff and getting it all kind of done at the same time, kind of like with the powder hammer pegs and then doing the block rocks and King's Tomb. Like that's 4 checks you can kind of all group together and be done, versus just going to go check block rocks and King's Tomb. Well, now we can loop in 2 other things with it, and it's cleared out faster. So.
Yeah, because that is another problem that I have is sometimes I will focus a little too much on one-off checks instead of trying to group them all together on that. And that was something that he did a good job of keeping me focused on. Is don't just go for the one-offs unless you're last locationing. Let's wait and let's try to group some stuff.
Yeah, and then we ended up having just checking the tablets with the book when we found it, and it's like, well, you have Ice Palace and a Mire Dip and the tablets, so I would check the tablets before dipping into a Pendant Ice Palace or dipping into a 1-item Mire front.
I hate the bomb jump. I just didn't want to go do it.
No, it's a perfectly acceptable play, because there were no acceptable plays there.
and it's funny now, like looking back at it's funny because now, like looking back at chat, my buddy Mocha Jones is in there right now, who's playing tomorrow, rooting for you, Mocha. And he made a comment about the nice bomb jump, because normally it takes me so long, and normally I have to like create save states and just keep trying and trying and trying.
Yeah, IPBJ is definitely an underratedly difficult trick because you see it so often on like the top level restreams. People just walk into the room, plop the bomb down, they're done. But there's a lot of precision there. There's a lot of different moving parts, and you need to be able to recognize all of them if you want to do it, like in one shot, like the really good players do. So it's definitely not weird at all to have it be difficult. It does take a lot of practice to become good at it. Icebreaker is a really good alternative now, but of course it's not a viable option in the seed, considering the location of Samaria.
That was just the most ridiculous thing, man.
It's Ambrosia. Ambrosia likes to do that. It likes to give you AGA 1 seeds, and it likes to put items on pendant bosses.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you again. I'm so excited to play the rest of this tournament. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I definitely feel you there, and congratulations on finishing the seed.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see you again.
Absolutely. Can I say one thing real quick?
Sure.
Hey, I'm one follow away from affiliate, and I'd appreciate your follow.
Whoa.
Just throw that out there. Something that I actually do want to talk about. If you don't know, I'm actually an Extra Life streamer. Are you guys familiar with Extra Life?
Go ahead and explain it for...
So for anybody that doesn't know what Extra Life is a charity that helps out kids in hospitals who can't afford life-saving treatment. So we all raise money through playing video games or board games or tabletop. A lot of people on my team stream. So there's a lot of great people that you can meet if you do come to my stream. People like Mocha Jones, people like Hanny Travels, who I just see in my chat right now. Husband Derek, a lot of awesome people. We raise a lot of money for Norton Children's Hospital in Louisville, Kentucky. And any money that I actually get from streaming through subs and stuff like that is all going to be going to Extra Life. So I definitely could use your support in a couple of follows.
Yeah, considering everything that's going on right now, it's more important than ever. So
absolutely. It's such a great organization. You meet people from all over the world, especially if you go to something like Extra Life United. You meet people from all over the country, all over the world, who are just doing great things and using something that we love in playing video games to do some good for the world. Polar Bear Bunny, thank you for the follow. So yeah, I'm done with that. I just wanted to give a quick shout out for Extra Life.
All right, and if my co-commentator Mary has anything else to say about the seed or Worldwide Wimpy, or anyone has any final thoughts.
I'd like to thank Gobo Podcast for the restream, and the host for this restream, I think it was Lauria doing the restream, and our commentators, Espion and Mary, our wonderful tracker, which I totally forgot to see where that
Cake in the closet.
K.
Cake in the closet, and thank you very much for your
Such
time.
a great.
If anyone in this Go Mode Mentor League needs a mentor, shoot me a message. I can see when or if I can help you out.
Hey, this guy was awesome. Like, not only in helping me out, but if the people that were watching my stream can see, I was laughing and having fun the entire time. Yeah, I got a little tilted at the end, but he was a great guy to just sit around and laugh with and joke with and have fun. So anybody that wants to get him as a mentor, they're gonna have fun.
Great. Thank you guys for the interview, and I think that will be the end of this broadcast. Thank you everybody for watching. As the Leoria has put in the chat, check out the Go Mode Podcast at gomodepodcast.com. And this has been Espion with my co-commentator Mary. Thank you everyone for watching.
Have a nice night, folks.